do we assess this one, Gerard? No Carey, no Lockett, StKilda winning for the second time. And North Melbourne, well, they've only lost 5 games, but the wheels are not falling off, but they've come back to the pack.
Well, I think it's very difficult, Bruce, to maintain that mental edge for the entirety of the season. And I thought for North Melbourne it was just a lack of mental approach on the night. They came out, you could see from the earliest part of the game that they were just underdone in that area. Longmire missed a couple of goals, as did Adrian McAdam early in the piece. But it was really a triumph for Ken Sheldon and the Saints. They had some magnificent players around the ground, and through the middle in particular, Mark Dwyer and Nathan Burke really exposed North Melbourne. I thought they perhaps even missed Anthony Rock a little bit more than Carey, because Crocker did particularly well at centre-half forward, although with Carey there it does straighten them up and give them a focal point, but Crocker did win many possessions.
North Melbourne weren't really out of it. They gave the impression, well, they gave every indication they were just to kick out of it at some stage, and they played with a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah, they just couldn't find a player to lift to that next level, and that's where they, I guess, miss Carey the most. Just at the superstar to put his name on the game. And speaking of superstars, Nicky Winmar, he had a pretty good game, as did Stuart Lowe, but there was a couple of interesting moves. I thought that Tim Pekin going on to Craig Scholl and taking him out of the play was a significant factor, and obviously Ken Sheldon had pinpointed him as one of North Melbourne's playmakers. And also McAdam on McAdam, Bruce. I thought that was an interesting one, and many people asked after the game who won. Well, I think at the Christmas lunch table this year you could give it a points-all draw.
Bobby, did you have a comment?
I thought that North Melbourne played much wider than they normally did on Friday
Well, I think
night.
that's where they miss Carey, because Carey's gives them that, straightens them up a little bit, and they can just tunnel into centre-half forward, hit the pack at centre-half forward, and that's what
StKilda
creates
didn't force them out wider themselves.
I think StKilda won the intensity battle, but I think that all comes back to their mental
on
preparation.
Harvey? That was a terrific battle.
Yes, it was, and I think that Sheldon will have to look at what he's going to do with Rob Harvey if he gets tagged out of it. Sometimes Harvey can go missing a little bit, and perhaps even look at him on a half-back flank, centre-half-back or full forward.
Gerard, Mick Dwyer means a lot to the Saints. Like, he hasn't played many games, but he's got great skills.
No, he's an unusual player. Every time I see him get a full game in the middle, he vies for votes, as he has done again today. But
do you think he's got a defensive side to his game? I watched him in the second half.
Well, he didn't need one on Friday night.
Give us those votes.
He destroyed Wayne Swass in the middle. Well, the 3 votes I gave Mark Dwyer, he got the 3. Nathan Burke, the boy from Pines, he was fantastic. And Peter Everett, a young gun up forward and in the ruck, terrific talent on the way through.
Speaking of the McAdams, they're both here, Gilbert and Adrian. Who do you think took the points, Gilbert?
Oh, well, he finished with 5, so I don't know, I suppose we finished about even, I think.
Did you put your hand up to play on him? I mean, we've recently seen McCarthy want to play on Carey. I mean, did you go to Kenny and say, I want to play on Adrian this week?
No, actually, he sort of mentioned it to me early in the week, and I just said, yeah, no worries, and I was quite happy to do the job.
I know the guys want to ask you heaps of questions. We've got some interesting highlights of the two of you on Friday night in the duel. As you said, Adrian finished up with 5. You're having a chuckle here, Adrian. But this is called brotherly love, fellas. So you do share the points here a bit. Adrian, was it a strange experience having to play on Gilbert?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty strange because we've never played together or played against each other before. So, it was a bit of an experience, yeah.
I'd love to know who Mum barracked for. She was at the ground. Does she barrack for the Saints or barrack for North Melbourne?
I think she was going for both of us, I think, yeah.
Gee, there's a free kick, Gilbert. What are you doing to him?
I noticed, Bruce, I want to ask this to Gilbert. When you first went down onto Adrian and right throughout, when the ball was being bounced in the centre, you weren't playing like a normal backman. You weren't up there niggling like a Mickey Gaffer or holding on or scragging. And is this because it's your brother, or is this the way you play backline play?
Oh, I think it's just the way I normally play, because I've played in defence a few times, so, it was just the way that I posted, I suppose.
You weren't being nice to him?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't too bad. Gave him one, but...
I think
You're not going to get stuck in them again.
part of my football upbringing was in the backyard against my brothers, and we had some great Donnybrooks. Did that occur at home? It probably would have, I'd say.
Yeah, plenty of times, many occasions, yeah. We played heaps of one-on-ones in the backyard, and sometimes got a bit aggressive. And
I beat him, though.
In the fight or the game?
Oh, both. I beat him both.
Probably the fight because he was older, but in the games, it was pretty...
Adrian, you didn't plant a big kiss on your brother like the Djakovic's do?
Nah,
You don't fancy that?
Nah.
Adrian, I've got to ask, have you surprised yourself, Adrian? I mean, Gilbert came across as a Magarey medalist with a tremendous pedigree. You've come in and kicked 60 goals in 12 matches. Are you surprised at how well you've played this year?
Not really. But when you look at it, the team's been playing so well this year, and everything's just been going so well. So credit to the side, and it's just been a bonus for myself just to get into the league side and maintain my spot.
I was talking, maybe both of you boys can answer this. I was up in Alice Springs a couple of years ago and talking to a couple of locals up there, and they mentioned the talent of youth that's in Alice Springs. They said, and they mentioned you about being so good at soccer as well, and basketball. But what happens to the talent up there when it reaches about 16?
Yeah, that's right, Don. I think it's a big step for the boys to leave home and that sort of stuff, and people don't really realise what sort of step it is, and I think the boys are just so comfortable living back home that they don't really think about moving away.
So there is a lot. You agree that there is a lot of untapped talent up at Alice Springs?
Oh, there certainly is, for sure. I think there's a lot of talent all throughout Australia, but I think there's certainly a bit of talent at home for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there was another brother, wasn't there, Greg?
Played for North Adelaide in South
Greg was a
Australia.
great player apparently, and now is he the eldest of the?
He's the oldest, yeah.
And how good a player was he?
Yeah, I think he played over 100 in Adelaide and played state footy and that sort of stuff, and I think we learned a lot from him as well. So yeah, I think he done his ligaments in his knee, so he sort of ended his career. So
Adrian, what was Dennis Pagan's approach directly after the game or team meeting since the loss on Friday night?
Yeah, well, Dennis wasn't too happy with the performance of the team. He was pretty happy with a few of the guys, and he was a bit upset with a few of the elder guys that that didn't perform. There's a few guys down, and he wasn't too happy about it.
Did he single a few out for special attention?
Yeah, well, he did. Those guys know who they are, and I'm pretty sure they're going to bounce back from it.
Did Shimmer think you were a very good player? I mean, Pagan obviously. Did you think you would have got to go with Shimmer as quickly as you did?
Well, he recruited him.
Yeah, but it's not what I've asked.
When Shimmer was there, I was there. I came in November and I did a lot of the pre-season. Unfortunately, I broke my foot over Christmas and I missed out on a lot of the pre-season work. So I couldn't get into the league side while Shimmer was there. But I worked pretty hard to get into the league side, and as it's turned out, I'm there now, and I'm happy where I am. Yeah.
Adrian, we saw Kickett win the goal of the day, and you're also of the same. You go back and say, well, at 65 yards, I can kick that quite comfortably. Do you have a distance that you think you can't kick, really?
Well, I'd like to do some torpedoes, but because I'm young and new to the club, I don't really think that way. I'd rather look for a lead upfield if Longers is leading or something. But as Dennis said, if I'm in range and I'm pretty sure.
What is your range? What is there any range at all?
Anywhere forward of the scene.
I'm pretty close to the 50 metres line. I know I've got a good chance. So as he said, if you got a good chance, have a go. Because he knows that I can kick.
Yeah.
So.
It's been terrific to have you both in. Adrian, you've made a tremendous contribution to football this year, and Gilbert, you have for quite a few years. Good luck for the rest of the season, both of you.
thanks, Bruce.
The McAdam Brothers, Adrian and Gilbert. A break. Kevin Sheedy's our guest.